Joy on why that made her upset?
No.
Okay. Did you have an understanding of what maybe was causing her to be upset?
Joy was turned into the couch with her face in the couch, and the only thing she said during session was, "I want you to get it removed." That was her only sentiments about the tattoo to me.
Okay. And did anything about Mr. Duke come up at this particular point in time?
Yes.
Okay. And can you recall for the court what was discussed regarding his involvement with Ms. Duke's tattoo?
Yes. Crystal asked Joy a series of questions, such as, are you upset that I have a tattoo and it reminds you of Daddy? Is it because I've always been a constant in your life and he hasn't? Do you feel like our trust is being broken because I have a tattoo like him?
So, hearing those statements, how would you classify those particular statements against Mr. Duke?
They are leading questions, for sure. They also are alienating questions as they're painting Brian as negative.
And what was Joy's response to those posed questions?
She didn't have a response.
Okay. Did you try to redirect the conversation at that point?
I did.
Okay. And so this occurs in session, and so after that's discussed, what then occurs? Do you recall?
Joy was just adamant that she wanted to go home. At that point, there was really no coming back and having a successful session, and so we didn't end up having anything else. She just went home.
And did you have a one-on-one conversation with Ms. Duke after the therapeutic part with Joy ended?
Yes.
Okay. And what was discussed during that one-on-one?
Kind of just a reiteration of during the session that Joy had told her prior to the appointment that she didn't like that Crystal had tattoos like Daddy. It reminded her of him and how he's mean to her. And then she asked me, she informed me that she believed that Joy was having an influx of hormones as she believed she was getting ready to start her menstruation cycle. And she was growing breasts and that she was fearful of Brian finding that out. And then she asked me if molestation would have an effect on early maturity as far as menstruation, but she never said why.
Okay. So this occurs in March, and then a few months later in May, the issue of Joy's masturbation appears.
Yes.
Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. And this particular issue is something that you were notified about by Mother, is that correct?
Yes.
And this is also something that you've discussed with Joy in session here, correct?
Yes.
Have you made any headway with Joy regarding this particular issue?
I would say so. This is a behavior that is typical of children of that age. They're developing, things are changing, and they are exploring, new feelings. So it's not something that I feel is concerning. Joy and I discussed it briefly as she didn't want to go into too much detail. We had discussions about where it's appropriate, where it's not appropriate, and the feelings that she was having surrounding the activity, making sure that it wasn't being used as a coping skill negatively. And initially, I wasn't aware of necessarily the nature of how she was doing this, but I was able to get more information from her.
court what happened on the particular day Joy was scheduled for her session in May?
Yes. I was notified by Crystal that an incident had happened at Brian's house that she felt was concerning. Joy and Crystal were both in my office. She stated that there was an inappropriate image that was on Brian's computer when they were working on a school project. She stated that he left the image up on the computer on purpose to make Joy feel uncomfortable about it. I believe it was for a school project. So they were looking up animals, and somehow a woman with a snake on her naked body was there also.
Okay. So this was the information you got from Ms. Duke prior to the session, or the information you got from Joy Duke during the session?
This was from Crystal.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So then you see Joy that day, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Was it a session with just the two of you?
No.
Okay. Ms. Duke was also in the session?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell the court how that particular session went?
Joy didn't speak. She let Crystal explain the incident for her. It was mainly Crystal and I having a conversation.
Okay. In front of Joy?
Yes.
Okay. And did Joy agree to talk with you if she could talk via writing?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
You may.
Okay. Would you be able to identify Joy's writing that day?
Yes.
Okay. And it's something that you would have maintained the original in your file, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 232. Can you identify that writing for the court?
Yes. The top portion is Joy's handwriting, and the bottom portion is my handwriting.
Okay. And if you'll review the second page and make sure that that is indeed the second page of that particular writing.
Yes. This is Joy's handwriting.
Okay. And so has this document been altered in any way to your knowledge?
No.
Your Honor, I'm going to move to Exhibit 232.
No objection.
No objection.
232 is admitted.
Now, while you and Joy were communicating this way, was Ms. Duke still present?
Yes.
Okay. Was she able to see the piece of paper while you were communicating?
I am not sure.
Okay. And can you tell me, you've identified that this is indeed, your writing, and this is what's in your file, but did you take this photograph?
I did not. And only the first page is my handwriting.
Okay. So the second page is, that's not your handwriting?
No.
Okay.
What I have in my file with me is the front page.
The front page. Okay. So you don't know what the second page is?
No.
Okay. All right. So this is Joy's basic statement of what she reportedly saw on her father's computer, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Was Joy ever presented the image in question during any of your sessions?
Yes.
Was she ever able to identify an image for you?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to show you Exhibit